go out to the same parties, the same social functions, passing information to each other. And so, if the anchor of a big time news show says, hey guys, guess what? Nancy Pelosi and her husband are insider trading, then they have to think about, oh, well, am I burning a bridge? Am I cutting off access to, information that she or her staff might be feeding me that I can break news?
Tulsi Gabbard blew the doors off during her appearance on the Joe Rogan podcast. And honestly, it was one of the most explosive conversations we've heard in a long time.
You have to report it. You have to be transparent about it. Most of Congress has failed to do even that. So it did nothing to stop it. It says, you just got to tell us. And most people are like, yeah, I'm not going to tell you anyway.
And there's no repercussions?
And there's well, they might get like $100 fine.
She laid out the Democrats' dirty laundry like she had nothing left to lose. By the time she was done, Rogan looked stunned. And after hearing what she exposed, it's hard to understand why anyone with basic judgment would still want to align with the Democratic Party. The revelations were brutal, the insider details were unsettling, and every moment felt like another bomb going off. So buckle up because this one hits hard. And before we get into the chaos, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another political blowout.
Complicated union.
Yeah, it is. It is that.
It really is. Between money and politics. And it's just like, it would be wonderful if we could get money entirely out of politics. If the only way that a politician could make money while they're in office is just their salary.
Rogan starts by hitting a point regular Americans have been yelling for years. Politicians should earn only their government salary. No side deals, no secret investments, no using their office to make a fortune while everyone else struggles. He spells out the obvious. The corruption isn't accidental. It's built in. Then Rogan turns straight to the Nancy Pelosi stock trading scandal that stunned the country. That's when Tulsi steps in with insider insight so shocking that the room practically froze.
You're aware of the Nancy Pelosi stuff.
Absolutely.
It's wild.
It is. And look, I think this is one of the good things about social media is, of course, the mainstream corporate media is hardly covering it at all.
Tulsi jumps in with precision, calling out the media's blatant double standard. When a scandal involves Democrats, mainstream outlets suddenly forget how to report. She points out the contrast clearly. When Trump faced accusations, networks ran nonstop coverage. Endless commentary, legal panels, and breathless updates. But when Pelosi landed in the middle of a stock trading scandal, the press conveniently lost interest. Tulsi refused to stay quiet, and her takedown hit with full force.
Pelosi is doing these trades within this period of time of Nancy Pelosi voting on this bill or bringing a bill to the floor, because we've got to remember, Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House, nothing happens without her knowing about it or giving her stamp of approval.
Nothing in Congress moved unless Nancy Pelosi approved it. Every bill, every committee push, every vote crossed her desk. And she knew exactly how each move affected the markets. She didn't just control policy, she used that power to benefit her circle. Her husband, Paul Pelosi, made perfectly timed trades again and again. Coincidence? Nobody buys that. This was political influence used like a personal cash machine, and the Democratic establishment backed it without hesitation. Instead of serving the nation, they served themselves, holding on to power, wealth, and control.
A member of Congress or your spouse or your adult child should not be allowed to conduct insider trading on issues that Congress is dealing with, which really covers every issue under the spectrum. They can't pretend anymore that they haven't been doing it. And yet, even as Nancy Pelosi is like, okay, fine, we'll draft legislation. But Congress is about to take a break as they head into the general elections. And once again, she's refusing to bring the bill to the floor for a vote.
Tulsi didn't hold back. She said Pelosi didn't just exploit her position, she weaponized it. Gabbard revealed that Pelosi stalled legislation designed to stop insider trading among lawmakers. So she and Paul could squeeze out more profit before the law kicked in. It wasn't clumsy or accidental. It was deliberate. And that's the real threat. When elected officials use public trust to build private fortunes, the system starts collapsing from the inside. If this continues, democracy stops representing the people and starts representing profit. The upside is that voters finally pushed back. But the cleanup is nowhere near finished.
We'll start looking at it and say, oh, well, how much money have you made?
Yeah.
Like, why are you worth $200 million? That's crazy. You make $200,000 a year. You're worth $200 million. Like, what's going on?
It's impossible not to think about Barack Obama in this context. When he entered office, his net worth hovered around $2 million. After leaving, that number multiplied into the tens of millions. And the official explanation? The usual script. Book deals and speeches. Convenient. The same excuse gets recycled for Nancy Pelosi. She earns roughly $200,000 a year, yet her fortune has ballooned past $200 million. Are we supposed to treat that as normal investment luck? These patterns reveal a system where power produces profit, and the public is told not to question it.
Like Paul Pelosi's stock, like what his record is, he's better than Warren Buffett and George Soros, who are like wizards.
Yeah, exactly.
Those guys are the best. He's better than them.
Yep.
But it's 100% insider trading. If you think about what they put Martha Stewart away in jail for.
That's exactly where Rogan and Tulsi turned up the pressure. Paul Pelosi's stock portfolio didn't just outperform Wall Street legends. Crushed them. And how did he pull that off? No mystery. It's the benefit of being married to the Speaker of the House. Tulsi said it clearly. This isn't smart investing. It's legal cheating. Paul made million-dollar moves right before major legislative shifts. And who had the early insights? Nancy. Meanwhile, Martha Stewart went to prison for a tiny fraction of what Paul pulled off. But Paul keeps celebrating wins while the media shrugs. Elites glide through untouched. Regular people take the hit. When Tulsi said it out loud, Rogan's reaction said it all. Finally, someone dared to say the truth. And what comes next will shake this even harder.
Not the only one, obviously.
No.
There are, and this is where, the quote-unquote uniparty in Washington has been blocking this kind of legislation from being passed because they're both benefiting from it. We had, I think, there were Republican and Democrat senators in the lead up towards COVID who knew about it, right, and started making different investments.
Here's where things get even wilder. Like many people, I assumed Pelosi was acting alone. But Tulsi says that's far from true. She claims multiple senators and influential politicians were cashing in behind the scenes. They were trading on inside knowledge while pretending to represent their voters. The shocking part is that their names are being shielded on purpose. Hidden to protect the powerful. And at this stage, political labels don't matter. If you're using public office to enrich yourself, you're part of the corruption. Left, right, center, it doesn't matter. Anyone who abuses the public trust deserves to be prosecuted.
It's just crazy that it's legal.
Yeah.
It's really egregious. And it's shocking how complicit the mainstream media is in ignoring it. Mm-hmm. Like, do you think that there's some discussion, or is it just an understanding that you'll lose access to these people if you highlight this? Like, why are they not covering that?
It's like this chummy insiders club in Washington. And, a common term that's being used now is called permanent Washington, which really fits when you think about it, because it kind of encapsulates that whole swampy ecosystem.
I've said this before, and this proves it again. The reason politicians get away with this level of corruption is because the media covers for them. They don't just ignore the truth. They hide it. Just look at the Hunter Biden laptop story. Legacy media had the details. They knew exactly what was on that hard drive. But they buried it because exposing it would have wrecked their preferred candidates, especially Kamala Harris. So they protected them. They dismissed the story as Russian disinformation when it was legitimate evidence that could have changed an election. And that's only one example. Behind the scenes, the media and political elites work hand in hand. And there's no question who benefits. The left. This is why millions no longer trust the press. That distrust was earned.
All go out to the same parties, the same social functions, passing information to each other. And so, if the anchor of a big time news show says, hey guys, guess what? Nancy Pelosi and her husband are insider trading, then they have to think about, am I burning a bridge? Am I cutting off access to, information that she or her staff might be feeding me that I can break news on and all this stuff. So, it's like you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And if you start pissing off certain people, then you get kicked out of the cool kids club.
This is the same reason Pelosi's scandal barely made headlines. Not because it wasn't serious, but because she's part of the media's inner circle. She feeds them exclusive information, insider updates, political gossip, and in exchange they shield her. They protect her reputation while her husband makes market moves that defy explanation. Now compare that to Donald Trump. He gives the media nothing. No private scoops, no whispered leaks, no backroom hints. Everything he says goes straight to the public. And that's why the press despises him. Without access, they can't control the story. They can't benefit from him. So they attack day and night from the moment he entered politics.
She's come up before. It came up years ago. Congress said, okay, we're going to take action to stop insider trading and make sure that elected leaders aren't benefiting off of insider information. And so they passed the Stock Act, which did nothing. Essentially, it just said, okay, if you are going to, trade in stocks or buy or sell stocks, you have to report it. You have to be transparent about it. Most of Congress has failed to do even that. So it did nothing to stop it. It says, you just got to tell us. And most people are like, I'm not going to tell you.
After hearing all of this, I'm honestly relieved the Democrats finally hit consequences for years of manipulation, lies, and corruption. They acted like the law didn't apply to them, using office not to help Americans but to pad their own wealth and silence critics. It's long overdue that the balance shifts. My hope is simple. Every official, no matter their party, who used public office to exploit American taxpayers should be exposed and held accountable. No more hiding, no more protected names. If you betrayed the public trust, your actions should be brought into the light for everyone to see. It's the only way to clean up Washington and restore even a fraction of integrity. And that wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit the like button and subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one.